Good morning. Welcome to the world of conscious positive thinking with MJ, where your thoughts become your power and your mindset becomes your compass. MJ is here to guide you through a journey of self-awareness, emotional mastery, and empowered living.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Yeah, man. Just feel it. Let it flow. Peace and love in the air, you know. Woke up with the sun on my face. Breathing deep in this holy space. Feeling good, no need to race. The rhythm of life moves at its pace. Good vibes rise like smoke in the sky. Love in our hearts, no need to ask why. Dance with the trees, sing with the breeze. The world of conscience puts the mind at ease. Colors swirl in my open mind. Truth and joy in the thoughts I find. A smile's the cure, a word's the key. Positive thinking sets you free. Good vibes rise like smoke in the sky.
Hey, welcome Monday morning. Oh my gosh, we're right here at the end of June, getting ready to celebrate the glorious 250 America's birthday. I don't know if it's because I'm such a patriot, but I love the energy. I love that we can redo history and revisit it and understand maybe where we went wrong, where we went right, how it all went down, where we are today because of such heroism. And today we are loaded because besides our patriotic feeling of our 250th, and we're getting closer and closer here to the 4th of July, we have a beautiful strawberry full moon today, and it arrives tonight and at 7:57. And we also have the angel number of the day. Wow, we got a full pack and something really important to my heart. Universal law. MJ, what is universal law? Universal law is actually what governs us. What governs us? Whew. We got going. We got to get going. So here we go. Welcome, everybody, to the world of conscious, positive thinking. Today's number, June the 29th, 26. So that's 062926. And that results in the number 7. We are brought to you today by 7. Does that sound like Sesame Street? So today our angel number is 7. The angels ask that you take time to sit in silence or meditation. Great wisdom will be bestowed upon you when you connect with your creator. You have that faith. You are being guided to embrace the predestined sacred contracts. It's coming, folks. Trust that God will assist you in advance accordingly and to evolve graciously. Angel power word of the day, freedom. Freedom. Oh, I love that word, freedom. That is our power word of the day. The angel number contains 26. You already heard this, but we're going to repeat it for those who are new. The angels know that you feel empowered when you feel compassion for others. They now seek that you feel the same compassion for yourself. It is that very important that you say no to requests that make you feel uneasy. No pressure, no resistance, just no. I'm sorry. And we smile and we back away because it makes us feel that we are in control. Trust these sensations in your body as they are your inner compass. And today, the number 92 shows up. The angels would like to remove any obstacles that make you feel trapped in situations or relationships. Fear is the biggest controlling factor that keeps you stuck in unpleasant situations. Hand over your fears, and trust the angels will see that you are safe, sound, and place you in liberating new territories. You can choose to fly freely and with the help of the angels. And lastly, nope, not lastly. Woo, there's a lot today. Your angel number contains 29. The angels ask you to draw on your inner resources to guide you forward. Maintain a positive outlook at all times and hand over any fears or concerns that you may have to the angels at this point in time. The angel contains the number 62. I think this is our last one. So the number 62 within our day today, the relationship angels are around you at this point in time and are bringing healing to one or more of your personal relationships. Calling in Archangel Gabriel will assist with sensitive communications that you may be required to have. Make sure you clearly ask the person involved for what you need, and also be prepared to listen attentively in return for their needs as well. And folks, that's how we balance in our world. That's how we move forward. And that is how, in all loving in nature, that we gather. Okay, so I told you it's a really packed day. Let's get into the second one. We got that full moon. Today, we are blessed with the full strawberry moon. Some of us who are energists and some of us who don't even realize what we're feeling or why we're in what we're in, you're going to figure this out right now, because tonight at 7:57, it peaks. This full moon follows the summer solstice, making it the first full moon of the summer season and the northern hemisphere. It is also a micro moon. We went from the super moon of the new moon. Now we're going to the micro moon, meaning that the moon is near its furthest point from Earth and appears slightly smaller than average when you look at it on the horizons. Because it rises low on the horizon, it may glow with beautiful golden ambers or the rose-colored hues. I saw it last night coming in. I had a beautiful weekend, and driving north back home for my little 3.5, 4-hour jaunt, it was a collide. It was like it went from darkest of blues, hues, greens, yellows, or oh my gosh, I was like, what a phenomenon to see. It had all the colors in my background. It was just so beautiful. From an astrological perspective, this full moon occurs in the zodiac of Capricorns. Whoop, 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 whoop. Directly opposite the sun in Cancer. So that's funny because my sister and myself are Capricorns and my mother's a Cancer. My sister just celebrated her 60th as a Capricorn and my mother celebrated 85th as a Cancer. And here I am reading the Cancers and Capricorns. I love this. So Capricorn represents discipline, wisdom, responsibility, and building a meaningful legacy, while the Cancer reminds us of home, family, emotional security, and nurturing. This creates a beautiful invitation to bring balance between our inner achievements and our inner emotional work. If you're looking at the Farmer's Almanac meeting, the name Strawberry Moon has nothing really to do with the moon's color. It comes from an indigenous North American traditions, particularly the Algonquin people, who named the moon after the short season when wild strawberries ripened. Other cultures have called it the honeymoon, the mead moon, the rose moon, the hot moon, the green corn moon, and the moon of birthing. Each name reflects abundance, nourishment, and the beginning of the summer's harvest. It reminds us that nature has perfect timing. We cannot rush the harvest before the seeds has matured. So now we go into the spiritual side of our moon, that every full moon symbolizes illumination. It shines light into places that we have ignored. Not to judge us, not to punish us, simply to help us see, become aware. That June strawberry moon carries that vibration of asking, what has ripened within me? Perhaps your wisdom, your compassion, your patience, your forgiveness, your courage. Every experience you've walked through this year has been quietly growing fruit within that soul. That's right, the fruit of your loins. Just as the strawberries cannot bloom in water, your spiritual gifts have required their own season. Today is not about becoming someone's new. It's about recognizing who you have become. Capricorn spiritual lesson here. If you're a Capricorn, since we're talking about this energy, Capricorn is represented by the mountain goat. Spiritually, that goat, some people call it the sea goat. I understand. I understand you sea goaters, but we're talking about the mountain goats today. Spiritually, that goat climbs one careful step at a time. No shortcuts, no rushings, no comparisons. Capricorn teaches that spiritual growth is not measured by visions, psychic gifts, or mystical experience. It is measured by integrity, consistency, humility, responsibility, and service. Sometimes that greatest spiritual awakening looks incredibly ordinary, showing kindness, keeping your word, choosing love over fear, and standing back after life knocked you down. Now that's some sacred work there, folks. To get back up and go again, hoorah to you. What energy might you feel during this moon? So this is where people are like, is this me? What is going on? Is this the energy of the moon? Well, here we go. Many people notice that they have heightened emotions around a full moon. They have heightened awareness, heightened maybe depression, heightened sadness, heightened what is going on. Well, while scientific evidence does not support all popular beliefs about full moons, how they are affecting your behavior, many people find that lunar cycles meaningful as time for reflection and intention setting. So during the full moon, you may notice emotional clarity, a desire to finish unfinished projects, greater awareness of what no longer serves you, reflections about your career, your purpose, or your family, fatigue as your mind processes recent experiences, and a longing for just simplicity and authenticity. Think of it as your soul gently is cleaning house, right? We have to go through cleaning house of ourselves, so why not clean within our emotions and clean within our events that may have weighed us down? So sometimes releasing isn't every bit as sacred as receiving. And it does happen. Don't worry. Ask yourself with this moon. These are questions for reflection for this moon. What have I outgrown? What fear am I still carrying that no longer belongs in my future? What gift of life has been preparing inside of me? What harvest am I finally ready to receive? These questions are not really meant to produce any type of immediate answer. They're to ponder. So when we ponder and we start thinking, then sometimes that these questions that we are receiving becomes the seeds, or they may become the trash that we need to get rid of, right? So the spiritual practice, if you spend time underneath the moon sun, stand quietly, just take several slow breaths. Imagine the moonlight washing over you, your entire body washing it clean. As you inhale, slightly say, I receive divine wisdom. As you exhale, I release all that no longer serves my highest good. And we repeat this several times, and we feel it, and we do it slowly. Repeating this in a simple sitting inside of gratitude, humility, with grace, the highest, divinest of energy of God. I'm not asking for anything. I am simply receiving and being grateful. So the final reflections on the strawberry moon reminds us that every season has a purpose. It always does. There's a reason for every season. There is a season to plant, a season to wait, a season to grow, a season to harvest. Perhaps you have spent months just wondering why life felt slow or not moving forward, or maybe just not feeling quite together. A lot of people are going through this. So This is why prayers seem unanswered or why doors remain closed. Nature reminds us that unseen growth is still growth. So don't be fooled. Roots grow long before flowers bloom. The June strawberry moon shines as a reminder that the divine works in perfect timing. Your life unfolds one season at a time. Trust in the process, honor your journey, celebrate every lesson that has ripened within your heart. Know that rescinding on purpose plays an incredible role for us to figure this out without due harm. May this full moon illuminate your path, strengthen your spirit, soften your heart, and remind you that the greatest harvest is not found in what we possess, but in, did I say but? Yet in who we have become. Healing ourselves creates that beautiful, beautiful picture of consciousness. That's the moon. All right. We got to keep, I have this, we have got to keep growing. I know you got to ponder that. You can go back and you can listen to this at any point, but we really have to keep going here. So if you have questions, put them in and I'll try to answer them. But I want to leave you before I go on break. It's going to be about 8 to 10 minutes here. And then I'm going to take a break and then we're going to dive really, really heavy into universal law. So my opening reflection, the invisible architecture of our life, of every single person who stands on this ground. So before we begin, I want to explore the universal laws. I invite you to place aside everything you might think that you know about universal law. I don't just take it out of your mind one time. It's not because it's wrong, because every great discovery that we are going to begin with is a question. When we become the wise, we learn so much. Not everybody is a wise person. Some people just don't really care. There's like, okay, it's just the way it is. But sometimes when you get into the wise, it's a ruder awakening to our psyche and to our spiritual and to our body. We're like, oh, it's like that needle that we found in the haystack. It's like, what is happening here? So throughout history, humanity has literally searched for answers to the same questions. Who am I? Why am I here? Why does life unfold the way it does? Why do some experiences seem distant while others appear random? Why do some people repetitively encounter the same lesson? Pattern. The same relationship? Pattern. The same challenges? Pattern. Regardless of where you go. And perhaps the greatest question of all, is there an order behind what appears to be chaos? What do we always say? We have to remain calm in the chaos. So is there order behind that? Imagine for a moment that you were born into a world where no one had ever heard of gravity. Now you drop a stone, it falls. A tree loses its branch, it falls. Rain descends from the clouds, it falls. You may not understand the whys. You may not even know a law exists, yet the law continues to operate. It requires no belief system, no permission, no agreement. It just simply is. Now, let us expand that thought, okay? If there is laws governing the physical world, would there be laws governing consciousness? Oh, that's deep. Could there be principles influencing our thoughts, our emotions, our relationships, our growth, suffering, healing, and transformation? Not rules imposed by governments, not doctrines imposed by religions, not opinions created by culture, something deeper, because all that is man. right? So what's the deeper? Where is it? Something woven into that very fabric, that lining that exists. For thousands of years, philosophers, mystics, sages, scientists, and spiritual seekers have observed patterns. Patterns within nature, patterns within human behavior, patterns within civilization, patterns within human soul. The tides rise and fall every day, twice a day. Pattern. Seasons change every year. 4 seasons. Pattern. Day becomes night. Pattern. Birth becomes death. Pattern. Winter becomes spring. Pattern. Everywhere we look, we find rhythmic patterns, movements, cycles, relationships, connections. Nothing exists completely alone. A tree depends upon its soil. The soil depends upon microorganisms. The atmosphere depends upon our forests. Humanity depends upon one another. The universe appears less like a collection of separate objects and more like an intricate web of relationships. Yet, modern life often teaches separation. My success, my problems, my fears, my beliefs, my life. Me, 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 me. We draw lines everywhere. We draw lines between nations, between religions, between races, between the ages, between political systems, between ourselves and nature. Then occasionally life gives us a moment that shatters all of those boundaries. It gives us a birth. It gives us a death. It gives us a sunset, a profound loss, a spiritual awakening, a moment of overwhelming love. And suddenly, we just glimpse something larger than ourselves, a feeling difficult to explain, a knowing that perhaps we are part of something infinitely greater than our own individual story, the me, the I. Unless you're talking the I am conscious or the I am Christ light. We gotta think about this. Perhaps that feelings is not imagination. Perhaps it's a remembrance. The remembrance that humanity has been asking the same questions since the dawning of time. What if wisdom is not about learning something new? What if wisdom is remembering something ancient? Maybe out of our Akashic libraries that we've already lived. What if the greatest truths have always been present, waiting patiently for us to notice them? Look around nature. Just look. Look how beautiful. The eagle never, ever attends a seminar to learn how to soar. That's funny, right? The river never struggles to discover, where should I flow today? Right? It just does it. The stars never forget to be placed in the sky and to light up in the dark. Everything appears to move according to principles already embedded within creation. Well, who did that? Everybody could say God, and I hope you do. Only humanity possesses the remarkable gift of choice. And with choice comes responsibility of those choices. The ability to create, the ability to destroy, the ability to heal, the ability to hurt or wound, and the ability to align with life's flow or resist it. Perhaps this is why we suffer. Not because life is punishing us, not because we are unworthy, not because the universe is against us. Perhaps suffering often arises when we become disconnected from the deeper principles governing growth and harmony. Okay, consider this one. Every ethnical culture throughout history, colonializations, has searched for truth. Different languages, different symbols, different gods, different stories. Yet, many arrive at remarkably similar understanding. Love is love. Compassion is compassion. Uniting and loving in service to others. In every single one of those. That our actions matter, that our thoughts matter, that what we place into the world eventually returns back to us. Do unto others as others do unto you. How many people know that one? Everything is connected. The life unfolds in patterns. That consciousness evolves steadily, evenly, with grace and humility. Could they be observations? Could they be just discoveries? Could there be an invisible architecture supporting all existence? Not visible by the eye, yet visible through the effects of consciousness. Like wind, like gravity, like love. You cannot hold love in your hand. You cannot place it on a scale. Yet, its presence transforms lives completely and utterly a 180. Its absence transforms our lives. It affects our undeniable, and many of our life's greatest forces are invisible. But the question still becomes, must something be seen to be real? Or is it possible that the most powerful forces in existence are those that we cannot physically believe? Is it not about replacing one belief system with another? It's not about convincing you that any philosophical decision or philosophical writing is right, because that's man. Right now, it's an invitation to become curious. It's an invitation to become the observer. It's an invitation to examine that the possibilities are timeless, they're priceless, operating beneath the surface of daily life. If such principles exist, then understanding them may change how we see ourselves, how we see another, how we approach healing, how we approach life itself. So before we begin all of this, I leave you with a simple question, and then we're going to go on break. If there truly are laws governing the universe, and if those laws have been operating every moment of your life, how difficult might you live if you became conscious of them? Conscious awareness. That is the journey that we begin today. You're listening to Military Broadcast Radio. My name is MJ. My show here is The World of Conscious Positive Thinking. We are favored and loved by Jersey Mike's as a sponsor and by Dunkin' Donuts. And we also have beautiful DJs on this station, and they are service to others. Why? Because we are all veterans, or we are active military, or we are reservists. We are allowed to have a voice to share with you what we have learned and what we have experienced in this beautiful life. When we come back, we will be discussing the 12 universal laws of our universe. So sit back, relax, and I'm going to take us, because I'm very patriotic at the moment and I feel it. So the best patriotic song, Mr. Red, White, and Blue by Coffee Anderson. We'll be right back. Stay tuned, folks.
It's the guts and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July. It's them handwritten letters from home. It's them sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's a line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana, to the golden coast of California, Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop, and his 18th birthday was the day he was born. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, here's the light. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, stand on the front line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, pay the ultimate price. Oh. He was the man of the house when he was born. His family is proud but torn. But if you knew him, you would understand. He was raised on how to be brave, just to see the flag still wave. And then he came home with only one hand. 'Cause Mr. Red, White, and Blue, lay down, hear the light. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. Red, White, and Blue, stand on these front lines. Red, White, and Blue, he'll pay the ultimate price. Lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue, for these stars and stripes. March in line, march in line. Hey. Hey.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hey, welcome back. Coffee Anderson, Mr. Red, White, and Blue, best patriotic song I could play on our station right now. And I forever feel you, my brother of arms. I forever feel you. And those who left in Valhalla, men, Semper Fi, we'll see you soon. Okay. Are we ready for this? Have we pondered through Coffee Anderson? We're going to dive in, and this is going to be hopefully some awakening, hopefully some that will be, nope, I've already known this, but either way you hack it, we're going to do this together because we're going to examine all the origins of these teachings, where they came from, whether they were created by humanity or discovered through observation, and how they influence our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, our health, our belief systems, our spiritual evolution, because now these laws can support healing of the mind, body, and soul while creating a greater awareness, a greater balance, and a greater personal empowerment. This topic here is just going to bridge spirituality, philosophy, psychology, and practical day living. It's going to offer tools that can be applied regardless of religional practices, old belief systems, spiritual practices, or personal backgrounds. Are universal laws spiritual, religious, scientific, or simply natural principles? Let's go. Let's explore this. Today is our cosmic blueprint. It's unlocking the 12 universal laws of healing, consciousness, and human transformation. So let's ask you some questions. Ponder. We must ponder. We must process, and we must think. Why do some people seem to attract opportunities while others attract struggle? I'm sure you know some of those people, constantly struggling, constantly having a bad time, while others are just climbing and climbing and climbing and climbing. And you're like, wow, look at her go. Why do patterns repeat in our lives? Why do some relations flourish while others fall? Is there a hidden order behind what appears to be the chaos? We discussed this. Throughout history, philosophers, mystics, scientists, and other spiritual teachers always sought answers to the questions. Many traditions suggest that just as gravity governs our physical world, there are invisible principles governing consciousness in itself. But these principles are also known as universal law. So when you hear somebody goes, that's universal law. Now, if you look up universal law, you'll go, oh, there's 7. No, there's 10. No, there's 12. No, there's 14. All of the man, the Bible, 4,000 versions. Man. I was pondered this weekend, universal law. How was the Bible written of Christ in 2000 when man existed millions of years ago? My answer as a spiritual counselor or coach, when that was asked of me this weekend, my answer was universal law promotes, and maybe an awakening had to happen. I believe there's an awakening happening again about faith. I believe people lost faith. I believe that the coming of the Christ light was a reminder from the chaos that was happening. The horrific dark aging was happening. It was the coming, right? It was the coming of the Aquarian. It was the becoming of the conscious knowing of divine faith. I can't answer man. If man truly is the person, the scholars, the hierophant, the teachers they're the writers of such religional scrolls and practices of how religions start. But man in itself uses interpretation, hence ChatGPT or your Google AIs, or really any of the AIs. It's filtered by a consciousness of man in his belief patterns, or her, right, man. So where's the truth? What is the truth? Where is the documented evidence of AI producing this information if it's not an interpretation of man? Man's thoughts, man's studies of the interpretation that they took. Here's a positive one for teachers. Teachers out there, you see this, right? You teach the theories that you were taught. Now, if these theories of science, philosophy, or whatever gathering, besides history is history. And if man interprets history wrong, which is what's happening, history can be interpreted many different ways. And nobody who lives here today was not alive 2,000 years ago to interpret this history. I'm sorry. Maybe in a past life you were, if you believe in reincarnation, and maybe you can tap into those Akashic libraries, but that's also very difficult to explain to human consciousness because most people live in the cognitive and not of an awareness of that consciousness. So what is universal law then? Universal law is the principle believed to operate consistently throughout creation. It's not by man, it just happens like gravity. So there's a difference. The truth of one man may not be the truth of another, but in universal law, it wouldn't matter because the truth is by God divine right. There's no questioning gravity, right? So gravity is an example of a physical law. Well, Can somebody misinterpret gravity? Think about these questions. This is a pondering podcast. We need to sit and think about these things. Universal laws are considered energetic, spiritual, and conscious-based laws that influence our thoughts, our emotions, our actions, our relationships, our growth, our evolution. I can't say the name today. Why am I not elevating? Evolutions and healing. So that's not gravity, but these are conscience-based laws. Pondering again. Now, whether one believes in them or not, proponents suggest that these laws continue to operate. Similar teachings appear within ancient Egypt, Hindu philosophies, Buddhism, Taoism, indigenous teachings, Greek philosophies, Hermetic traditions, and mystical Christianity. The universal laws are often viewed not as commandments, yet observations about how life literally functions on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, since time existed. So then, where did universal laws come from? That's the next part. Well, okay, now I'm understanding, but why? Where did it come from, right? That's really important. I'm a why girl, so you're going to get my whys because these were my questions, but why? But why? Why? Where did these laws just radiously pop up? Well, that's really important, right? To my theory, because you have to give me everything, or this thing up here will ask you bajillions of questions. So that question leads to where the universal laws created by man, were they? The answer depends on your perspective and your interpretation. Most spiritual traditions suggest humanity did not create them. Mindful. Rather, humanity observed them. They became aware of them. Similar to gravity. Man didn't make gravity. God did. But man observed it. Man studied it. Man became aware of it. And then man produced in science theory of what gravity was. See the difference? Rather, humanity always observes most of these patterns of universe. Similar to that gravity, where Isaac Newton did not create gravity, he observed it. Many spiritual teachers believe universal laws were discovered through observation, meditation, nature, conscious studies, and spiritual experiences. One significant influence came from a Hermetic teacher associated with the legendary sage, S-A-G-E, sage, Hermes Trismegistus, Trismegistus. Forever sorry if I mispronounce it. These teachers, this teaching inspired later interpretations of that universal law. So you see how one man, interpretation, observing by pattern, then created the interpretation of a universal law. Because nobody can control it. It just exists. So over centuries, various spiritual teachers expanded these principles into what they are now commonly known as the 12 universal laws. No single person officially created all 12. They evolved through a collection of wisdom, of observation, of consciousness across many cultures. That leaves my next why. So then why do universal laws matter? If it's an observation that is only a pattern and it's an observation that always happens. So then why, right? You're going to see I'm a big why to these laws. So if these laws are accurate, then they offer insight into why patterns repeat, why healing occurs, why suffering persists, why growth happens, and how consciousness evolves. The goal's not perfect. The goal is awareness. Remember, when you become aware of air, I'm going to keep saying it. Awareness creates choice. Choice creates transformation. I'm going to say it again. The goal is not perfect. The goal is awareness. And when that awareness creates choice, then choice creates that transformation or transmutation. So now that we've discussed this, and now my whys and my whys and my whys, and I invited you into my brain of whys, now let's start the law. 12 universal laws. And we're going to start with law 1, the law of divine oneness. Now, what is that? In principle, everything is connected. We are all one. We are the I am Christ light. We all have it. Every thought, every action, every word, every intention influences the whole because of being one. People don't like the energies today. They find it's divisional. The law of oneness. Here it is. We're all connected. I feel your dismissal. I'm watching on social media your outbursts of anger and rage. Is it necessary? You getting that angry, is it proving anything? The law of oneness. Physical application. Families affect communities. Communities affect nations. And nations affect humanity. The spiritual application of the law of divine oneness is many traditions teach that separation is an illusion. At its deepest level, all life shares one source, that I am consciousness. The healing question to it of law of one: how would I treat others if I truly understood we are connected? So if I watch a behavior that does not fit my persona, and I always tell you, I rescind. Why? Because I don't want to be in that energy. I don't like that energy. I'm watching cloaking. I'm watching negative energies. I'm watching people who just are not healed. When somebody can understand the treatment of their tones, their words, their accusations, their points of view, but they don't take the time to process how they're going to relate it to you. I'm common for this. This is why I'm teaching it. So please don't sit there and be a judgmental person and going, oh, MJ. No, because I've already heard that too. Practice what you preach, MJ. No, we're all living human beings. I'm telling you how it exists. Doesn't mean I'm perfect. It means I'm trying to explain what I do and back. And this is it right here. How would I have treated others when I was in my teens and in my 20s if I understood the conscious awareness today that gave me karma and that gave me other problems? It had to be the awareness. Yes. So then we go into the law of 2, the law of vibration. So now that we have the law 1, now we go to law 2, and that is the law of vibration. I made a post. It's funny how people can believe in Wi-Fi and their phones and their computers, but they just can't believe that frequencies of vibrations heal us. Like, that to me is such an oxymoron. And when people go, I don't believe in that. Right. Okay. Law of vibration. Everything vibrates. Go back to just a cup of water. The vibrations of the water memory, its consciousness. Go back to the vibrations of that poor little mushroom who has to work so hard in a forest. it creates the vibration to say, hey, you better start getting rid of those leaves. We got to hibernate. Hey, animals who are out here in the forest, time to start stacking your, storage up and start canning for the winter. The law of vibration. It's the vibration that brings on a consciousness. Modern physics confirm all matter exists as moving energy. All matter. Universal law expands this idea into consciousness. Thoughts have vibration patterns. Thought waves have emotional disruption if they are thought in a negative or lower vibration. The same as happy thoughts, good wishes, and high virtue to a thought will create that consciousness to that person whom you have that thought vibration. Then you go to emotional vibrations. If I am angry at somebody, I'm throwing off those vibrations, and I may not have to say anything, but that energy feels it. Think about it. Close your eyes. Think about walking into somewhere and all of a sudden you're like, I don't feel good here. I just don't feel good here. And you can't wait just to go. You had to be there for purpose, but you can't wait to go because of that vibration, right? It's not your vibration. It's not a vibration that's attracting you to want it. And that's now there's the opposite. You could walk into a place and you're like, oh my God, but it's 12 o'clock midnight. I don't want to go. I'm not ready. Why does time fly so quickly? That's the opposite of that longing of that other vibration. Does that make sense? Okay. So when we have a healing application for the law of two, the vibrations, now we have the higher emotional states that often promote it. Peace, joy, compassion, and gratitude. We just talked about. I don't want to go. And then the lower emotional states often create that resentment, that anger, the uncomfortableness, that fear, that despair, that loathing. What's the other show that we did? Hello, my hateful shrew. Yeah. So as we reflect on the law of two, the question then ponders, what emotional frequency am I broadcasting daily to myself, to my family, to those around me? Have I consciously made a choice to understand those words may have hurt? My actions may have hurt. My displacement may have hurt. My choice or my decisions may have hurt. Have you become aware of your choice hurting others and then understanding their side of hurt? Especially in family. Family be the first person to hurt you. Why? Because family tends to say, oh, they know who I am and I can just have an outburst. Can you? Oh, you know I didn't mean that. Or they can't even do an apology correctly. That's emotional frequency. That's law two. What's that vibe? What's that vibration? Am I showing an open heart, open of love? Am I showing a very closed off person? I tell you, I have a word and everybody knows it. If I don't feel comfortable, shields up. And I have no pride, I have no FOMO, I have no nothing. I will walk away. Family or not, I will walk away. Because if you don't walk away, your words, your tones, your vibration is going to be felt. Rescind. Nobody wants to hear your event or your trauma with somebody else. They don't. It's not part of them. So don't be going and la 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 to everybody else to try to get your army. That's a vibration. The law of two, we've missed it. Vibrations, they matter. They care. There is a positive and there is a negative of that law of two. But the law of two wants it as a high vibration, but understands the patterns have to come through for the events to happen, for us to learn and then for us to have that consciousness. Okay. So now we're going to go to the law of 3. The law of correspondence. Nope, I know business code says it's 3 days. Business correspondence, 3 days. But in today's technology, God forbid, if you do not text somebody back within a couple of minutes, your phone's ringing. You may be on the phone, and then they're going, I know, you're online, I see it. Right. I was not born in this era or this age of technology. I was born simply by, I will listen to the message and get back to you. I am out. I am outside. I'm playing. I'm riding my bike. I am snowmobiling. I'm snow skiing. I'm roller skiing. I didn't spend time indoors. I spent time outdoors. And maybe that's why some of the people who grew up without this beautiful technology of today are very grounded individuals. But they're also some of the most stubborn individuals. I'm not changing my mind. And that's on them. And it's okay. Because the law of 3, the correspondence is as above, so below. As within, so without. Outer experiences often reflect inner conditions. Examples. I just gave you some. Here's some more. Internal chaos often creates external chaos. Internal peace often creates external peace. So our internals will, law of 2, vibrate to that next one. Understand that? So the people who are having arguments within their home, but then guests come in and they want to smile. Hey, hello, welcome. If for 1 second you don't believe that that law of correspondence and that law too of vibing does not feel that tension within your parameter, look out. It happens. How many times have you like when you walk in and you're like, hey, because you're invited, hi, and you come in, then energy's not right, and so then you ask, everything good? Like it's none of your business. You can choose to leave the vibration and come back at another time, and maybe they can settle their disturbances and then have fun again. But it's none of your business to ask the question, everything good? Or is it? Ponder that. Can I assist you? Would may be a better thing. Can I insist in anything here? No. Okay. Well, you know what? I forgot X, Y, and Z. I'm just going to run down to the store. I'm going to go get it. There's an alternative for you. That way they can continue a discussion or they can continue whatever. And you don't have to be a part of it. Law of correspondence. So our healing application here for the law of correspondence would be change the inner world to influence the outer world. We change within our parameter, our vibration then reaches, and then the outer world sees that glory, right? Yes, if you're in an event, you're going to have to go through that event. So that vibration and that correspondence may be off. If you need help, then you do ask those people coming, I need some help. Okay, let's do this. Do it together. That's humanity, right? Secrets in families kill. Secrets in friendships and groups kill relationships. Because our egos can't handle it. Our egos are not healed enough to say, well, why wasn't I important enough to be invited? Or why wasn't I important enough to hear this information? Why wasn't I? And then the answer, well, it was just a time thing. No. Awareness. Observance. It's not true. It's not a time thing. That's an excuse of the ego, of the human ego and the human judgment. Get ready for an excuse. Get ready. And then you feel that tension. Get ready. It's like a student walking into a teacher's or into a principal's office. you have that, or a child going home knowing they're going to be punished. And you're like, oh, like that is where that law of correspondence lies. Our inner chaos creates external chaos. But if we have inner calmness and inner peace, then our external will have that calming and that peace. Be observant and be aware of positive consciousness. People think if I didn't say it and they didn't hear me say it, it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. It's law of 2 and law of 3. It's not okay. All right. We're going to go to 4. Law 4. The law of attraction. Boy, this one. The laws of attraction. By principle, energy attracts similar energy. You heard me. If I go in and I don't find an energy that I can associate with, I rescind. Why? It's not my energy. Same way, sometimes we vet by God's grace and God's knowledge, not by ours, but we vet people. Is it a good idea to believe that this student is ready for this next step? That is having humanity in our heart. Why would I stack another emotional decoding or 369 light code or the 12 light codes? Why would I even bring them into another emotional removal if we haven't healed the first one? Right? The law really becomes famous through modern self-help teachings, right? Important clarifications that law of attraction is only one of 12 laws. It is not the entire system. It's only one law. So I need to make that very clear, because sometimes people have a different approach, or sometimes people have a different understanding that just because the law of attraction is only one, it doesn't, it's not it in entirely of that's universal law. No, that's only one. So don't think that because we're attracted, well, everything's good. It's not going to work that way. Okay. So that law of attraction becomes our flirtatiousness, an energetic going, wait, I like this. Oh, you like this? Oh, wait, I like this. Oh, wait, you like that. Where are we at? How come we have all these likes? The law of attraction. Maybe it's a beautiness. Maybe it's a dancing. Maybe it's an energetic of liking to do something, going on hikes, taking photography, going fishing, going hunting, going to concerts, going to musicals, right? The law of attraction. It's the law that attracts the same liking. The healing application for the law of attraction then would say focus, attention, beliefs, and emotions shape perception and influence our behavior. Does that make sense? We have to remain focused. We have to remain attentive. Attentive can be observant. Attentive can be the awareness. Our beliefs are ours that are shared with others. We find a commonness of that, which attracts us. Some people believe in Catholicism. Some people believe in Lutheran. Some people believe in Episcopalian. Some people believe in Judaism. Some people believe in Taoism. Some people believe in Buddhism. Some people believe in Zoroastrianism. Some people, it just goes on and on and on and on. It's a belief system that is the attraction. The eyes can see beauty, but let's hope that that beauty is reflected by the soul and not by the physical appearance. The physical appearance is an AI. What if somebody was in a car accident and their face disappeared? Would you still love them? What if somebody was skinny and athletic and you know, very sports oriented when you met them, and then their body breaks down and they're not that person, but you want them to be that person? Then again, what happens to that? So we have to be mindful of focused attention, belief systems, and emotions. Where do we attract? What are we attracting? And what we are attracting comes from us. It doesn't come from everybody else. It comes from us, what it is that we are attracted to. I'm attracted to love, balance, beauty, alignment, peace. I don't like chaos. I don't like confuffle. I don't like every time you turn around, somebody is poor pity me or low Joe, whatever, in your lows. Negative Nancy's. I don't, pessimistic people. These are not an attraction to me. Maybe they are for you. Maybe because you have to heal together. And that's okay. Just be aware the law 4 has the law of attraction. And there's 11 others, not just the law of attraction. There's more to it. So just because we're attracted, we need to go through the vibrations. We need to go into the rest of the oneness of these laws. All right. So we go down to law number 5. And law number 5 is the law of inspired action. Wow, that's an important. The law of inspired action. Principle. Thought without action creates little change. Why? Because you weren't told to do it. You were inspired by seeing somebody who maybe went through 4 years of college, and you see the success that they're having, and then now it inspired you to go to 4 years of college. Inspiration by somebody as maybe a hierophant or a teacher or a mother figure, somebody who can teach us different things. And that thought process of that inspiration, it inspired you to keep moving. In athletics, your coach was a huge inspiration, right? You did a great job. Let's try to work on blah, blah, blah. Maybe we'll get 10 more points next time, right? It is the way that they're saying it to inspire you to be the best you can be. Where'd you hear that one before, military people? Be all you can be. In the Navy, you can sail the 7 seas. Oh, a little pun. Our principle for the law of 5, the law of inspired action. Thought without action creates little change. Dreams require movement. Prayer requires participation and understanding. So inspired action goes a long way. Inspired action is somebody helping you in return help them. Somebody who helps you get out of a deficit, you return whatever help they assisted with. That's humanity. Inspiring action sets people in a forward motion, not needing help of Ganeshas or Thors or army of St. Michael to remove whatever blocks. It's an inspired action, the action to take us. It is our free will to choose that. So the healing application again for law 5, the law of inspired action. Knowledge becomes wisdom through action. The more you read, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you earn. Knowledge-based wisdom is an inspired upon our life to understand maybe the laws of the universe. We have to learn it somewhere. So it's an inspired action that when we learn it and we feel good and it makes us feel good and we're balanced and we're at peace, it inspires the action to go further, to learn more, to take action of that and to create that action for others so that we could vibe to the rest of our tribe. Make sense? Okay. Law 6. Now we're going to take another break. Law 6. It's the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. That's a big one. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. This is law 6. Our principle of this law states energy constantly changes form. How's that possible? Energy constantly changes a form. Well, let's dig in. Let's figure out energy of any sort, right? Energy is energy. We study energy by quantum physics. We study the energetic wave and patterns by theoretical particles or physicists. We understand energy because of Isaac Newton. We understand energy because of Tesla. We understand energy because of Einstein. Energy. Energy constantly changes forms. People say old dogs can't learn new tricks. Nope. Law 6 says the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. So old dogs can learn new tricks. Same as people. The older we get should be allowing us to open that parameter. It should be allowing, it can allow us to facet ourselves in a world to understand we can change. I told you, people today don't realize the person from years ago. They don't recognize that energy anymore. They don't understand I've been the same person. No, I've changed. I was capable because I was shown how the laws of the universe work. I was shown that my negative vibrations are part of this, or my negative intonations, or my inspired actions to others have changed the pattern how I think, changed the pattern how I forgive, changed the pattern of my belief systems that I was brought up to be aware of by man, not just my family, but the community, from the outreaches, from the state. We go on and on and on. Changes us. So within that transmutation of the energy, we can change who we have become because of man's teachings. Sometimes man's teachings are not very nice, and they can't understand it because that's how they were brought up to believe. But somebody who was not brought up to believe that, right? Now they have this huge heated argument. They can't see they're both in chaos. Transmutation of that chaotic energy is allowing to understand without judging. Right? I can't judge somebody else's journey. I don't know what happened in a past life. I don't know what preempted the other person to do such a thing and why. But what I can say is flip it to become aware that anything you think is a negative event that you are going through, flip it. Flip that pattern. You asked to them to be that catalyst. You're accepting that negative energy, which means you're not healed, which means the seeds inside of you, because not only did you ask this person to do this, and imagine how they thought coming into this world going, really, you want me to be that person? That sucks. But it was the only way for a perpetual transmutational energy, because the source of it for you had to bring in this catalyst. Maybe because when we fall, there's only one place to go, which is up. Right? The law of perpetual transmutations of energy. Fear can become courage. By anger, pride, courage, the 3 military values that all military people have. Pain then can become wisdom, because you don't ever want to be in that pain. Kidney stones, right? Kidney stones. I can have a choice of how to enjoy foods that are causing me to have kidney stones. That doesn't make sense, MJ. You're right. But it does when I know that I have a machine that I can say, I know there's a potential of me to suffer with this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do work prior before this even happens. I'm gonna start with my Dr. Rife frequencies, the vibe. And I'm gonna allow that to take care of something on the human form. They're telling me that's happening because this is happening. I so am the why girl go, why? Really? Then why can't I take it out with that and then I don't go through it? Well, it still happens. So how do you fix it? And don't say by stopping eating this, stop eating this, because man, if I listen to a lot of doctors today, I basically would be eating air and water. That would be my food because this doctor says this, don't eat this, you can't eat that, you cannot. And then this because of being autoimmune. Can you imagine the dysfunction? So what do? I use the law of 6, the law of perpetual transmutation of that energy. Pain can become wisdom. Loss then becomes growth. I never thought I would experience grief. I thought the grief I experienced with my father was horrific. But I just went through a grief period on July the 2nd, will be 1 year. And that perpetual transmutation of energy has been a year-long struggle. And just when you think that you've healed it, here it comes full throttle. And the waterworks come again. The emotion keeps coming. So then what would be the healing application for that law of 6? No emotional state is permanent, period. It's an event. And an event that the quicker that we can transmute that energy is the quicker that we can heal and live in peace. Transformation remains possible in every single form that exists. If it's a living organism, then that transmutation of energy is possible. It's a choice. Where's that choice? Are you going to make the choice to transmute it? Or are you going to stick like this? I'm not budging. Well, not budging then creates your chaos. But somebody else has a choice to leave you in your laws of vibrating in a very low vibration. Transmutation law, clear it. Law of inspiring of actions. Well, nobody's going to want to do that. They don't want to be in that chaos with you. This is the problem. People are still angry with political views. It's already happened. It's not, stop already. Just stop. At what point do you just stop? But these people, they can't. They're still angry and they're still angry and they're still angry. I heard somebody this weekend say, somebody at a birthday party decides to bring up politics. It's just the wrong place. And a beautiful voice I heard say, this is a conversation for now. How about we not have this conversation? You might not like the outcome. I was bewildered, to say the least, that I heard that happened. But I was also very happy that happened. Extremely happy. It's just the courage of somebody to say, not now, right? I call my ego Satan. And when my ego wants to take a hold of an event that maybe I still have to learn that lesson, I call it Satan. I do. I go, not today, Satan. And I'll breathe and I'll tap and I'll breathe and I'll tap to transmute that energy as quickly as possible. Rescind. Not today. So when we start talking about all of these beautiful universal laws, inspire oneself to think and ponder on the questions of, am I doing this? Is it plausible that I could do this? Do I need assistance to do this? And if the answers are how or why, pick up that phone. Type me, email me. I'll give you some of my masters if I can't help you, if I don't have that connecting energy. It's very important. So, okay, guys, I got to take a break. We're going to do the rest of the 6 when we come back. I am going to play another beautiful patriotic song because I'm in that patriotic field. And this one is You Can't Spell Hero Without Her. It is another Coffee Anderson song that he allows us to play here on Military Broadcast Radio, where veterans always have a voice to tell their story. And we love having our sponsors such as Jersey Mike, such as Dunkin' Donuts, such as Brandon Stockley, and the Colorado Peoples. We are very thankful. My name is MJ. I'm here on the station, and my show is The World of Conscious Positive Thinking. So we'll be right back, right after we hear from Coffee Anderson, You Can't Spell Hero Without Her.
Signed up to fight for freedom. What a price you had to pay. Picture in her helmet, missing family every day. Your Lady Liberty, dressed like G.I. Jane. Some scars we'll never see. She will never be the same. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister and a friend. Standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her. On that old dusty base with the meadows that shine, she's been to hell and back for the stars and the stripes. Your Lady Liberty, dressed like G.I. Jane, and some scars we'll never see, and she will never be the same. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister and a friend. Standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her. Yeah, yes. For the ones that didn't make it, we will pause and then we cry. We can still see their smile in every sunrise. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister and a friend. Standing tall in that uniform until the very end. When Uncle Sam called, she signed that line to serve. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her. 'Cause you can't spell hero without her.
Even ducks know the calmest waters come after the storm.
Whenever things get rough or it feels like you're at the edge, remember this: storms pass.
Tough times don't last, but tough people do.
Every setback is just a setup for a comeback. Keep quacking forward. 90% of what we worry about in future never happens.
Whenever things get rough or it feels like you're at the edge, remember this: storms pass.
Tough times don't last, but tough people do.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back here on Military Broadcast Radio. My name is MJ here at the World of Conscious Positive Thinking. If you just joined us, we today are talking about the 12 universal laws, the cosmic blueprint that we are all under, whether we know it or not. These laws are not governed by our government or our globe. They are universal, means they just exist like gravity. So we did the first 6, and now we're going to do the second 6 and punch through here. So the law of 7, the law of cause and effect. 2 or more people speaking negatively, that vibration goes, the transmutation goes. See how these laws are working? When you speak negative, that person you're speaking negative to gets lower and your vibration goes lower. But if 2 or more people speak positively of each other, the vibrations, the law of 1, the law of transmutations energy, what happens? If we're positive in speaking, then everybody rises. Very easy. Every action creates a result. Many traditions describe this as karma. Karma. What is really karma? Is karma a learning life lesson? We made a bad choice, and who's to judge it? However, karma does exist. So this is why we have to understand these 12 laws. We have to understand, if I make this choice, how's it going to affect all of this, right? Or do I make a choice that affects all this? Decision time, yet again. What do we do? As far as our healing application, it says choices today become tomorrow's circumstances, right? It is what it is. Those circumstances. You made a choice. You made a decision, right? Your voice was your authoritative decision. Nobody can be blamed for how somebody else now feels because you made that choice. Without remorse, without sorrowfulness, actions create a result. This is the end result. It's by you. You said it, you did it, you claimed it, you whatever. This is the law of cause and effect. So this is why I tell you, when you're angry, it's on you. Face yourself. It's on you. It's not because he did this or, sometimes, people have a persona. I can't stand a certain area. That persona doesn't really work. Why? Because you're judging the whole area. For one, cause and effect. Right, wrong, indifferent, right? Or you're judging a class, or you're judging a person, or you're judging cause and effect. Did they have a bad day? Can we forgive them? Yes. Then they do it again. Wait a minute. I forgave you the first time without saying anything. I just kind of shoved it off. But here you are again being a putz. Now I have to really going, did I personally do something that you want to treat me that way? Oh, that's ego trying to make me suffer. So I'm sitting there. Nope. I've already apologized for that. So if you're still holding a grudge on that, that's you. Because I've already apologized. Or I can't see how. So we get the higher selves, Father, Mother, God. Bring in the highest, bring in the conscious, bring in the higher self of this person. Show me why they're so angry. Show me. Ask it. Some people go, MJ, it doesn't work for everybody. Okay. But this is what you're asking. Here I am teaching. We need to know. Give me an inkling. Give me a sign. Give me something that's going to jog my memory. You ask, but then be aware when they are giving it to you. Be aware. Be conscious aware. But if you're asking in your prayers for something, be thankful for gratitude. Be thankful. If somebody gave you a tip and it's no tips and they still want to give you a tip, be grateful. I had to learn that one. I'm like, hey, I don't want your money. I just want your humanity. I want your grace. But for them, maybe that is their grace. I want to share. You help me beyond measure, right? Cause and effect. It could be a really good thing. And that could be a good karma. See how that works? Just because the word karma may have a negative appeal to it, man, because the word karma always wants people to put it in a negative form, cause and effect. I can't wait for karma to hit you. Yeah, okay. Now, why would you wish that? Because you're still angry. That's your ego. But your ego causes cause and effect. And people who have beautiful gifts, remember that wave that we talked about, that vibrating, even our thoughts our inner thoughts become our external chaos. Here we go again. The law of cause and effect. I think negative happens. That's on me because I created that energetic wave with whoever else or however many joined in with that wave because I tried to build an army of waving. Look what this person did. No. Pick one or two people to talk to. And if those two people decide to go back and run their mouth, then you pick the wrong people. Saying I need help. This is what's going on. I'm really discerned with this, or I'm really loathing this, and I'm really not liking it. I don't know how to get out of my own way. But when you start talking to people and they start talking to others, you're like, no more. I'm sorry. No more. I don't want to talk to you. It could be a husband. It could be a mother. It could be a sister, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, a friend. Whoever you are choosing, maybe choose somebody who has already learned the practice of no judgment. That's not my event to judge. So I can listen to you and I can give you maybe a philosophical side, that an approach to help you. I don't need to run my mouth. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with somebody I would tell. It's not their business either. That's when you learn judgment. You shut your boca. I know my beautiful master Diana with her beautiful booted cheeks are laughing. Shut your boca. This was something that sometimes you just have to say it because they're not getting it. Cause and effect. Shut it. Learn from it. Understand it before you open it. Right? Karma. Don't let karma be your best friend in a negative side. Let karma be the best friend of your positive side. Say things that enrich a beautiful karma. Cause and effect. Don't allow it to have a negative action. That's on you. Your negativity, and I love it when people know that they hurt somebody and they tiptoe around. And then they want to be all happy, like, oh, let me just feel the water first. Ugh. As an energist, when I see that, I'm like, oh, Father, Mother, God, take me out. Figure out a way. Find a way for me. I don't like it. Just talk. Openly talk. And that goes both ways, too, on my side. Again, if you have nothing nice to say out of your mouth or wanting to say it's not nice, shut it. Shut your boca until you heal yourself enough to be able to speak with words, tones that's not going to cause chaotic eruption or an effect to cause the karmic action for you. There it is. Healing application. Choices today become tomorrow's circumstances. And those circumstances then become the realm of a law of vibration, a law of oneness, the law of immersions, of transmutations, energies. Reflect. What is the reflection of the law of cause and effect? What seed am I planting today that I have to take care of, that flower or that fruit or that vegetable that's going to grow from that seed or that tree? What am I looking at if I plant it now? Wow. Wow. Yeah. Just wow. It's good. I'm just going to leave it as wow, because that's heavy. That could be extremely heavy. So I have faith that we're going to learn something today that's going to create an aha moment, an awareness that the next time we're speaking, you're going to hear, oh my gosh, Law 7, we're reaping what we're sowing, right? We're causing an untransmutation. We're causing this, cause and effect. We're causing our own karma. Shut it. Tap. There you go. My car is Karen and my ego is Satan. I'm like, get out of here, Satan. You want me to suffer. I don't want to suffer. I want to be happy. And if that means that I can't see some people in my life because they don't know how to be happy, c'est la bibi. Maybe they'll learn. Maybe they'll have that choice. Maybe they'll grow up. Maybe they'll understand the laws someday. And I have faith that they will. But right now, energetically, maybe it's not there. And that's okay. Because you can learn how to put up a wall just like me. You can learn how to rescind just like me. You can learn what your words, your tones, your actions are doing. But at no point am I going to lay down like a soldier that I am and allow it. Maybe somebody else will. I'm not there yet. So good on you if you're there yet. Put it past you. Let it go. Yeah. You can't let something go if you don't heal it. It's emotional. It's disturbing. And that is where we need help. Find this. Find it. That law, cause and effect. I wish more people would learn it. I wish that my angels, when I'm at the epitome of an overload and not being able to find or muster a niceness because of the event to heal within, I wish then that divine grace comes in and opens that awareness of understanding. There's the prayer. Going back to law of one. Right? My oneness. Law of 8. The law of compassion. No, I'm sorry. The law of compensation. We'll get to compassion. The law of compensation. Okay. The laws of compensation. The principle then states returns correspondence to contribution. So return correspondence of contribution, effort, service, kindness, and generosity often produce corresponding outcomes. If, as a healer, service to others, if I can find a source to take away somebody's pain, to assist somebody in removing a thought process that's crippling them moving forward, if I can assist them to own a perspective of positive, not an outlook that they took of their interpretation, my goodness, that ignites such a burning flame of healing inside of me for others. It's almost like I don't get tired, but I do. But during, I don't. It's when there's no more that I'm realizing how much energy I gave, right? But I contributed to a wellness. I gave as much effort and as much energy and as much service of my knowledge to create a balanced humanity. The law of compensation states that if I can just return the correspondence to contributions, then everybody has an abundance of everything that they want. It just takes a little effort, a little service, a little giving, right? It goes a long way. So that healing application for the law of compensation then focus on the contribution rather than the constant expectations. If somebody is coming in because they want help, then I honor and I do whatever I can. But if I don't have an energetic connection to that event that they're going through, whether in my physical or my past metaphysical lives, and I just don't, then it's not for me. And then I'm beautiful to say, I think XYZ, you need to go see this person. I think they energetically fit this event in this pattern. It's not for that person to get angry. It's for that person to acknowledge, I understand what you're going through. And I do believe today that I have enough experience or enough emotional decoding or enough experience to give you this. When somebody decides, I used to get really angry with Reiki instructors because they would do 1, 2, 3 Reiki and then, oh, it's a profit thing. So then they would teach. They don't even know what they're teaching. Most of them ended up teaching their own illnesses or their own unhealingness or their own whatever modalities that were only granted by God. You can't teach a modality that's granted by God. Maybe it might not work for somebody else. Maybe they're not where your level is at. Maybe you have experienced so much that they can't. I was told numerous times that I speak higher than the average person with their level of consciousness can understand. People get angry because they're like, not everything's beautiful and roses. Oh, but it is. Allow it to be. So the healing application for the law of compensation. Focus on contribution rather than constant expectation. Okay? Okay. Law of 9. Here we go. The law of relativity. Oh. The law of relativity. In principle, experience gain meaning through comparison. Experiences gain meaning through comparison. I'm going to say it again. Experiences gain meaning through comparison. We as humans compare going, well, wait, why is my light yellow, but theirs is white? Why does my mic have a feedback, but theirs doesn't? Why do my eyes run with onions and his doesn't? What? Law of relativity, right? Experiences gained through meanings of comparisons, understanding the whys. I'm the why girl. Understand those whys. Challenges often become opportunities for our growth. Again, law of relativity. We have an event, we fall on our knees, we pick up, we go again. We're sorry, we understood, we become conscious aware of that particular pattern or of that particular event now. Then to create the healing, for the healing application of the law of relativity means difficult situations can become teachers. For the longest time, I said, I'm not a teacher. Somebody goes, you should teach a class. I said, I'm not a teacher. If I could say how many times I've said, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a teacher. I'm not a teacher. They're like, okay, well, be a mentor. And I'm like, oh, that's a word I could do. Hooked on thesaurus worked for me. I'm not a teacher, a mentor. I can do mentorship. I can. For me, a mentorship would then be not so much teaching, but somebody asking me a question and I have the knowledge to produce. But I'm not teaching, it's just knowledge that I have. I know my people who are teachers out there going, MJ, do you hear yourself? Yeah, that's why I'm laughing. Because for many, many, many years, I'm not a teacher. No, I'm not a teacher. My own words, the law of relativity. I'm not a teacher. My experience has gained meaning through comparison. My challenges that I've had to endure through these multiple events that just always seem to keep coming often become opportunities of that growth for myself and for others, because when I grow, I get to give it to you to grow. I get to talk about that growth. I get to talk about the experience and how fortunate and lucky am I to bring that experience, that education, that joy. Right? The joy to recover and living in peace through humanity. I don't want nothing else. In fact, I have a hard time right now going back into major cities or public areas, major public areas, to see the unhealedness of people. It's not a judgment, it's an awareness. I don't want to be in it. What do? Like the guru, I sit to the top of my mountain in my tree. I'm at peace. I'm at harmony. I watch, I observe. I try to understand and compare. I use that law of relativity to honor that. It may take me longer than others. I'm a 3 brick in the head kind of person for the awareness. So don't be, if you are listening to me and you know that I have it, if you know for a fact there's issues that I'm having, I believe in divine time, divine grace, and divine process. And until then, I shut the boca until I am healed enough not to do it. I'm a very, very, very strong militant Capricorn. I know who I was born under. It's taken me a bit to unfold all of this. It is time, it is precious, and it can be transmuted. I am a vision of that. And if you've known me since I've been born, I am not that same person. And I will tell each and every one of you, thank you for honoring who you think that I am today, because you knew her in the past. And I love her because she taught me my humility, my grace, my consciousness today. Without those learning lessons and without me making all of those blunders, I could not possibly be a gift to receive the humanities that I have. It's impossible for anybody. So difficult situations then become teachers. Yeah, teachers. I've said it. Every Monday for 2 hours, I get to teach. I get to mentor. I get to tell you what I know and pray and have faith that you're going to take it and you're going to learn something. And maybe if you can change, and that one voice is like that Chinese red string, and it just networks and networks and networks, then that beautiness goes for everybody. Does that make sense? That's the law of relativity. Law 10, the law of polarity. So law of polarity, everything, the principal logic of the law of polarity is everything contains an apparent opposite. Everything. Light and dark. Joy and sorrow. Strength and vulnerability. Water and oil. Right? Brother and a sister, most of the time. So, law of polarities, they work. North Pole, South Pole. What happens to our Earth, right? We're rotating, we're rotating, we're rotating, we're rotating. Laws of parity. This comes up, this goes down. Law of seesaw, up and down. Law of polarity. I get excited when I get to do these types of things. On off. So you're out there, I'm hearing you going, oh, I have another one. So yes, law of polarity. It is that. It is just that. Everything contains an apparent opposite. We are all in our own journey. We are all in our own adventures and our own events and our own personal journeys, right? And when we make those journeys and we become a enrichment of knowledge, these laws going, I had to come from the dark in order to be that white lotus that came now. All of us have come from the dark, every single one of us. But we grow and we live and we shine straight to the sun, then to become that white lotus from that dark black mud. Law of polarity. Healing application for the law of polarity. Opposites often exist in the same continuum. Fear can evolve into courage, and it does. Because of endorphins, because of God granting us that line of service to self first, then service to others. We have to understand some awarenesses about that. And that was in the other one, service to self, service to others. Right? Okay. We're getting there. We're almost there. Law 11, the law of rhythm. Oh, I love rhythm. This weekend we did a drumming for heart rhythmatics, connecting our beautiful full moon energy to the night of the dawning of our skies, to grounding of our earth and coming in. A lot of shamans love to practice on the full moon this drumming. Drumming in itself understands the rhythmatics of our heart. Drumming in itself understands the law of rhythm. Our heart beats like our earth rhythm. Our earth has a rhythm, a heartbeat. When we can stand within earth's rhythm, our rhythm continues. It's a continuum. Why? Because the larger the group of finding a rhythm, look at the soccer games going on right now. Look at them singing the same songs in rhythmic harmony. Wow. The law of rhythm. The principal law of rhythm. Life moves in cycles. In cycles. And we go to a stadium and they do the wave. Look at that cycle. Woohoo! Right? Laws. We didn't make it up. We didn't even tell the people. They just started it. One starts, everybody starts. They're like, oh, I want to join in. I want to join in. Joining into the law of rhythm creates a beautiful cycle movement. Let's talk about nature, right? So the laws of rhythm in nature are seasons. 4 seasons. They're cycled. It's a pattern. Our tides, 2 a day, low and high. Where's the moon? What's happening with that? Because full moons, woo, we got really big tides, right? So when we have these full moons, they can create a lot of tidal flow. Breathing. In, out. In, get it? Rhythm, law of rhythm. Did somebody teach us how to breathe? No. Now there are breathing techniques, but nobody from the time that we came out of utero did somebody teach us how to breathe. Universal law of rhythm. We learned how to breathe. Growth. Did anybody teach us, hey, time for you to grow? You need to start growing. No. Trees? No. Plants will grow, seeds will germinate, and they grow. It is the law of rhythm, whether it's in a physical form of a person or an organic or of air or of our skies. It's rhythmic. The rhythm of healing. We break something, it has to heal, but it will heal. Why? Rhythm, EFT tapping. My body has been injured, but my body can heal itself. EFT tapping. Rhythm. You're rewiring rhythm, right? If we lost it because of a break, we regain it by rhythm. When we drum, we create rhythm, happiness, flow. How many times when you start to drum or you're hearing somebody drum, you start this bebopping, right? Or your toes, right? Or you're tapping your toes or your thumbs start to go, right? This is all rhythm. So the healing application of the 11th law, the law of rhythm, is periods of challenges are often followed by renewal. Learning to flow with life's rhythms reduces suffering. Never said it's easy. The challenge is to accomplish it. That's our challenge. So if you don't want to take classes and you don't want to learn from somebody else, but you want to learn on your own, then I advise you to pick up these laws of 12 of the universal laws, because these laws will teach you. And it's a reminder. Take one at a time. It's a reminder. And every time you're going to catch yourself, go up. Nope. What did I just learn? So if we can figure the 12 universal laws out, we maybe have more compliance, more balance, more alignment, less hateful shrews out there, less people negatively talking about the energies of what's going on in our globe. Don't encourage it. So talking negatively is encouraging it. Going, I have faith this is all going to go away soon. Why can't we do that? It's hard. Oh, it's hard. Any event I go through, why am I having to go through it? It's hard. And you want to be that positive consciousness. You do. Because when you have the positive consciousness, things start happening. Abundance of things just start happening. But when you are in that lower precipice and you can't find that law of rhythm, you're going to go down that rabbit hole. You're going to go into that hamster wheel. And that's no place to be. Nobody wants that. Because then you just become a tyrant. You become irritable. You become frustrated. And everything out of your mouth is a negative. You become anxiety and you have stress and you have, why is this triggering me? Okay. because you're not letting things disseminate for you. You're not understanding the laws of universe. You're putting too much accolades in human form. Human man ego creates a nasty domino effect if you listen to something negative. When you listen to something positive, that manifestations go into a positive consciousness. But you can't constantly stay in the poor pities of me either. So, again, the law of 11, the law of rhythm, the healing application is periods of challenge are often followed by renewal. Learning to flow within life's rhythm reduces all of human suffrage. Okay. And our last one, I got 5 more minutes here, folks. Stay with me. The last one, law of 5, the law of gender. The law of gender is law number 12. The principal line of law of gender is everything contains both receptive and active qualities. Many traditions describe these as feminine and masculine energies, the bis, right? Oil, water, we just learned it. On, off, light, dark, male, feminine. Clarification. The law refers to energetic principles rather than biological gender. Wow, think about that one. Think about those people who, when we grew up, I was one of them, they would look at me and go, you're a tomboy. I had a higher masculine energy about my persona. I was born physical female, but it didn't mean I didn't like the sports. I didn't like hunting. I didn't like fishing. I had more of that energy thrown within me than I had feminine qualities of knitting or hobbying. Or I went to Girl Scouts. I didn't favor it, but I went. I did it. I had fun, however, those teachings led to me growing and understanding how to cook, how to sew, how to the little things. I may not have been a professional, but it taught me. But this classification, I was more masculine energy still. So healing applications of the law of 12 is balance. It's all about balance, intuition and logic, receiving and acting, nurturing and protecting. Do you get it? So then the question is, are universal laws spiritual, religious, or physical? Because that's the question. That's the question for religious people. It's also the question where they dislike, well, that's a spiritual thing. And then they set their face up. So here we go. This one is the most important question out of all about my teachings today. Religious perspectives. Any religions contain principles similar to the universal laws if you start breaking them down. Examples appear within Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Islam, and indigenous traditions. However, the 12 universal laws themselves are not a religion. It's like Reiki. It's not a religion. The spiritual perspectives most often are considered spiritual teachings because they explore consciousness, which aligns with spirituality, purpose, and interconnectedness. The physical perspective, however, some concepts overlap with psychological and behavioral sciences. Habits influence outcomes, thoughts influence behavior, and actions create consequences. A balanced view, the universal law always exists primarily within spiritual and philosophical traditions. They invite exploration rather than demanding belief. So in our mindset, greater self-awareness, improved emotional regulation, expanded perspective, reduced victim mentality. In our body, reduces stress, improves resilience, greater personal responsibility, and healthier lifestyle choices. But in our soul, it is a connection, it's a purpose, it's a meaning, it's a compassion, and it's a growth. The laws invite us to become conscious participants in our lives rather than the unconscious reactors. Folks, I love you. I must go. I have taken a lot and I understand, but we will be back next week and I will be here to answer any questions. Tag me if you have them. I love you all. Mwah. See you next week.
Hi, I'm Beaker with Military Broadcast Radio TV. We're your virtual MWR, bringing veterans radio, podcasts, gaming, animation, 3D printing, and a community that never leaves you behind. Download our Roku or mobile app today.
Wisdom to share if you listen this week, so pull up a chair and stay for a spell. We're heading down a trail where good stories dwell.